Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim. Welcome to Mamdani's New York. You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks just like this.
Stop pretending about it's the kids, it's the kids. Look at what they do in these Muslim countries. You think they care about the kids? In Afghanistan, they're grooming the kids to be like gay dancers for the adult men. You ever hear of bakabazi? It's the kids, it's the kids.
You have to see this wild drama that's exploding online right now. Sneako went all out declaring New York the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan, claiming Islam is heading into every single household with inshallah the whole world becoming Muslim. Then he flips into these emotional cries about Gaza that his old circle is ripping apart as total fake acting. Nick Fuentes, Asmongold, and Adin Ross are coming down on him hard, calling out the performance and the bigger agenda. This clip farming mess is everyone talking, so let's jump right into it.
Popular internet streamer Sneako had some fiery remarks during an Egyptian soccer celebration in New York City.
This situation is next level crazy. This US-based kick streamer, Nicholas Kenda Balinthazi, better known as Sneako, used to hang with a lot of America First crowds, but lately he's been all in on pushing Islam hard. After converting, it feels like his whole online presence changed direction. The big trigger this time was him out on the New York streets during Egypt's soccer celebrations. He's yelling Allahu Akbar, pretending to wipe away tears over supposed genocide talk, and then launching into it.
Allahu Akbar! Oh no! Oh no! This is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim. Welcome to Mamdani's New York. You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks just like this.
A ton of viewers found that message straight up disturbing. And for good reason. Here's someone who calls himself an America First guy openly talking about religious takeover while living in the States. As Mongol didn't waste time reacting. He called it wild and said stuff like this only stirs up anger. His hot take was that you really can't have two strong religions sharing power in one country without one eventually dominating. Every nation tends to have a main one.
And by the way, so this was Sneako trying to get everybody to cry about Palestine. He was showing some video of some dude crying in Palestine. He's telling his supporters, you guys need to look at this and cry about it. And Adin Ross rightly said, you know what, man? There's a lot of bad stuff happening in the world, and we just don't have the bandwidth, man. You want us to cry about the third world? Get in line. Look around the world. There's stuff happening in Congo. There's stuff happening in Somalia. There's stuff happening in Libya. There's stuff happening in India and Pakistan. There's stuff happening all over the world. And it's true. The only reason that I'm against the situation in Iran and the rest of it is because Israel is occupying our country and they're making us do things on their behalf. That's it. That's it. Aside from that, these Muslims in Palestine, as far as I'm concerned, they're indistinguishable from all the other brown clowns in the world that fucking hate us and are in some miserable squalor.
As Mongold went further, noting how this kind of boastful push makes people see it as a conquest plan. It turns folks hostile, creates negative views, and could end in restrictions, deportations, or clashes, pretty much following Europe's timeline, but delayed in America. Solid points that make you think.
Hi, Billy. What'd you think?
I have a lot of thoughts. I think that we live in a country with the First Amendment and religious liberty. And so we can start there. But the idea that every home in New York City would be an Islamic home is disturbing from a Christian perspective and also from a constitutional perspective. How is that going to, the entire city of New York is going to be converted to Islam? That's what I'm to assume. My first thought when I watched this was, is this for real? Is this serious? A, and B, if it is for real and it is serious in terms of this person's opinion and viewpoint, what in the world is going on? I do think we're seeing a number of concerning elements unfold when it comes to worldview. Listen, I'm a worldview person. I believe people can believe whatever they want. You're free to believe very bad ideas, very bad political ideas, very bad theological ideas. But my concern is when those ideas start to penetrate and take over geographic areas what does that actually mean for the people living there? What does that mean for freedom? And I think one of the challenges that we've had with radical Islam in particular is that when it takes over a country or a location, what follows is generally very unpleasant. And so, I don't know. It's like we can look at Afghanistan. We can look at all these different places around the world, Iran. I mean, let's go down the line. And it's probably an 80-20, 90-10 scenario. And Raj, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out. That is very unpleasant when you have a theological structure overtaking a country or a location. So the idea that New York City would be completely Islamic, I think is going to be seen as troubling, again, in light of political developments. When you have candidates who are winning elections and they've purportedly said things about 9/11 that are disturbing, and you have these sort of patterns in New York City in particular, it's a problem. It's also
Sneako keeps coming back with these sad clips of Palestinians watching soccer amid rubble, trying to highlight heavy eyes and claim the world is ignoring their pain. But when you look closely, the heaviness isn't really showing, and houses in some shots look decent.
And let you respond, Raj.
I don't think this is surprising at all. This is the foundational tenet of Islam, conquest. I mean, look at all the Islamic nations with swords in their flags. And if you say, well, who cares about this Sneako guy? He's a big deal amongst young people, amongst streamers. But I think it's important to realize that this isn't surprising. I think people forget that Spain was conquered by the sword, by Islam. I mean, there was a point in which a battle here or there, and all of Europe would have been conquered by the sword, not by evangelism. They made it to Vienna. I mean, basically the entirety of the Islamic world, from Egypt to Syria to Turkey, was Christian. It was all part of the Byzantine Empire. And within 100 years, you go from like southern France to India. That's not evangelism. That's by the sword. That's what has happened because of Islam. I think it's important to read just a couple verses from Islam. Surah 47:4. So when you meet the disbeliever in battle, strike their necks until you have thoroughly subdued them, then bind them firmly. Surah 9:5. But when the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists who violate their treaties. Wherever you find them, capture them, besiege them, and lie in wait for them on every way. Surah 9:20. Fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, nor comply with what Allah and his messengers have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth among those who are given the scripture until they pay the tax, willingly submitting, fully humbled. This is not. This is actually kind of the natural outworking. I find it surprising that people find this surprising. But what I love though is juxtaposing that with the true King of Heaven, with the true Lord of Lords, with the King of Kings, Yeshua HaMashiach, who says, "But
Gaza has gotten huge attention these past years, and life events like tournaments and weddings still happen. Sites showing daily Gaza footage reveal soccer matches and normal moments that contradict the constant despair narrative. Meanwhile, Sneako skips over things like bachabazi grooming in Afghanistan, or problems in certain Muslim countries when he brings up protecting kids.
Nobody speaks about that. Nobody. You got NBA players that will do 20-year deals with all these big corporations in China, where it's just children making merch and shoes all day. Nobody speaks about that. So my point is, this moral high ground thing, there's so much fucked up shit happening.
Moral high ground. Okay. Moral high ground, because there's sweatshops in China. Seeing things that are upsetting from a genocide, like seeing a father cry because his children have been killed by missiles. You're on a moral high ground.
Dude, let's just stop pretending about it's the kids. Look at what they do in these Muslim countries. You think they care about the kids? In Afghanistan, they're grooming the kids to be like gay dancers for the adult men. You ever hear of backlash? It's the kids. Don't even get me started. They come to Europe and they rape kids. Muslims come to Europe and then they rape kids. You want to talk about the children, the women and the children?
Nick Fuentes absolutely went off on what he called Sneako's fake crying. He roasted the over-the-top tears and pointed out the hypocrisy, leaning on Western sympathy and human rights language, while supporting systems that don't actually value those things. Nick said, "We've heard enough of the emotional propaganda. Yes, the situation over there is tragic, but Christians can have compassion and pray for enemies without getting manipulated, especially after seeing Sneako downplay crimes by Muslims elsewhere, or respond to European attacks with relief that it wasn't one of their own.
Come to Europe and they rape women and children. Let's just stop with that. Isn't it so ironic that Muslims use liberalism against our country and they don't even believe in liberalism? Suddenly, Muslims that believe in Sharia law, that believe in warfare, they hate all infidels, they want infidels to be killed. Suddenly, Muslims want to say, what about the UN Convention on Human Rights? Human rights? You don't even believe in human rights. Women and girls, you rape women and girls all day in Europe. So I'm totally on Team Aiden Ross on this one. If I have to pick, I'm with Aiden Ross, I'm with Asmongold. I'm with Asmongold in the bottom left. I'm with Aiden Ross in the top left. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at him. Whoops. Let me get my mouse on the screen. Look at him. Look at what a vulgar and wicked person. You could just see it. He's as ugly on the inside as he is on the outside. So I'm on Team Aiden. I'm on Team Aiden Ross. I'm on Team Asmongold. We don't care anymore.
Nick broke it down further. Some use liberalism as a tool against the West but reject its principles at home. They invade spaces, yet cry for sympathy. He contrasted faiths directly. Christianity sees God as loving father, while another views the relationship as master and slave. That's why one is better. We can pity suffering but reject the browbeating, especially from someone who earlier wished harm on infidels. Nick ended it calling the tears, tears of a clown, and labelling Sneako the fakest performer out there. Embarrassing to have ever been close.
Aiden Ross said something. What did Aiden say? Aiden! Myron said none of them can legally deport you, just laugh at them. It's impossible. I'm the only people that actually deported anyone on social media. Ironic, yeah. Myron's job was deporting illegal immigrants. But you know what they're trying to do, Myron? They're trying to put a target on my head.
Bro, it just sucks because I know Sneako's heart and he's a good person, but bro, he's going out so bad, bro. No religion should ever force someone to join, you know what I mean? But I feel like he has to, bro. He's so deep in this rabbit hole, he has to just do it, you know?
No, I believe in my religion and I want people to come to the truth. Aiden, I brought you to the mosque for the same reason I said what you're getting upset about now. He's trying to appeal to the white nationalists, but look, Aiden, the reason I brought you to the masjid is inshallah you become Muslim too. It gets rid of all the things that are destroying America right now. Gambling, porn, feminism. This will fix these problems. It will even protect the demographics, but they don't actually care. Every Christian will say the same thing. Every knee will bow. Every tongue confess. When I say something similar, they all get upset. It's not going out bad. It's saying what's true.
I always have love for him, bro. He's clip farming. I just think he's just going in that rabbit hole. You know? I would say America as a country is what a Christian country. Well, it was at one point, correct?
No, it wasn't. It was always a country that's secular. It's a country with freedom of religion. George Washington had a lot of things negative to say about the church. George Washington and other founding fathers with
Aiden Ross added his own strong thoughts. He reminded everyone there's horrible stuff worldwide that gets ignored, like child labor in China sweatshops tied to big brands. On the kids' angle, he pushed back hard. Stop pretending when certain Muslim countries and communities have grooming issues, bachabazi, or rape problems in Europe. Using human rights talk while believing in Sharia is ironic. Aiden made it clear no religion should force itself on anyone. America started as a Christian nation culturally, so outsiders demanding it turn fully Islamic crosses a line. He still shows love for Sneako as a person, but calls out the deep rabbit hole and clip chasing.
the document, the Treaty of Tripoli in 1797, John Adams said, America's not a Christian nation. They specified that this place, this country, is for all. This country has freedom of religion. They made sure to declare that this country is secular and people can practice their faith. John Adams, the founding father, in 1797, in the document Treaty of Tripoli, even wrote out that this country too is for the Mohammedans, the Muslims. They don't know what they're talking about.
Can we all agree? So,
also, Aiden, aren't you going to get away from politics? He said he wasn't going to speak about politics anymore.
who are people to come in and this is a Jew saying this? Who are people to come in and you know, we respect religions, but I just think like
I was born here. This 1.3% of the American population is Muslim.
Someone saying something like, America, it needs to be all Islam. And just, I don't know, dude. Like, listen, like, it's just, dude, I have great Muslim people in my life that I love, and I have great Christian people in my life that I love. If you want to just do their own shit, let them do their own shit. Religion's beautiful, bro.
Yeah. I didn't say I was going to force anybody to do anything. Do they know what inshallah means? What else did Aiden say?
Bro, it just sucks because can we all agree? So, who are people to come in and this is a Jew saying this. Who are people to come in and you know.
Dude, Aiden, they say the same thing about you. They will say that you're a Jew who came in and is trying to get the white Christian youth to get addicted to gambling, bro. Like, unfortunately, he's a great streamer and he's only done gambling streams for like 3 months straight. They are going to say, the white nationalist Christians that you're trying to appeal to, the skin worshippers, say that you're a Jew who's brainwashing the youth to become gambling addicts. Okay? They don't like you.
We respect religions, but I just think like someone saying something like, hey, America, it needs to be all Islam.
I didn't even say that.
The whole feud blew up quickly. Sneako and Fuentes have collabed and clashed before, with debates, makeups, and fallouts. He's taken heat for past comments on Hitler, historical topics, and even walking back Christmas remarks. This New Yorkistan moment went nuclear. Alex Jones demanded deportation immediately. Elon Musk agreed, and Sneako fired back telling Musk to go back to Africa. The story spread across X, Instagram Reels, Reddit discussions, including ex-Muslim communities calling the takeover talk obsessive, and even Fox News segments.
And so I think my main encouragement is not a political pushback, but it's saying, hey, crack open the Bible, crack open John and Romans, and even the other stuff, Isaiah, the Psalms, Proverbs, Exodus, and see the heart of the Father, and then compare it to what was created in the 7th century in Arabia. And I don't think there's any comparison, but I will give you the last word, Billy. But again, my encouragement to you, Sneako, if you're watching this, is that you would have a deeply profound encounter with Yeshua, which is happening all over the Islamic world. People from Egypt to Iran, to Turkey, to Bangladesh are having dreams and visions of Yeshua. Why? Because he is the way, the truth, and the life. But I will send it back to you, Billy.
Yeah, and who knows, you know, who knows what he meant, you know, with those words that every household was essentially going to be Islamic. I don't know, but I will tell you what we do know is everything you just said. You know, you mentioned Jesus's words on the cross. We see a pattern of this. We see when Stephen was being stoned in Acts 7, that as he's being stoned, you know, he says, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit, in the middle of them stoning. But he says something else, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. If Stephen, in the midst of the most horrific moment of his life, as he's being killed, stones are striking him. I picture the stones hitting him in the head. He's dying, and his last words are, do not hold this sin against them. That is the antithesis of almost every other faith system out there, but in particular, radical Islam. It is the polar opposite of it. It is what we are called to do. It is so hard when people harm us and hurt us. When people say mean things about us, it's hard to not wish bad things to happen to them or to be angry. And yet you have Stephen offering that example. And when you look at Jesus in John 3.
At the end of the day, this feels like a major reality check for many. Old friends are watching Sneako place Islam above American and Western values, farming clips with emotional displays, while openly celebrating a future where Islam dominates every home and everyone follows it. As Mungold and Adin spotlight the clashes with liberal values and integration issues, Nick brings the deeper religious and cultural comparison. Love it or hate it, the conversation it started is important. Immigration rules, religious compatibility, preserving culture, and what happens when groups push dominance instead of fitting in. Sneako's over-the-top style is under the microscope, and the pushback from former allies is only getting louder.
Nicodemus, he talks about being born again, and Nicodemus is like, what do you mean? I can't go back into my mother's womb. And Jesus is like, no, it's about accepting me, dying to self, and living like I do. And how does Jesus live? Just like you described on the cross, saying, Father, do not hold these sins against him. Just like Stephen, who followed Jesus, said, do not hold those sins against them. That is what Christianity is. And so we need to be praying for our country, for our cities, for our towns. You know, look, we're free to elect a Muslim mayor, We're free to do that. We live in a country with a First Amendment, but we don't want to see Islam from a theological perspective dominate anything. We want to see Jesus change people's hearts. It's not about domination, right? It's about people's hearts aligning with the one true king. And when that happens, individual lives are changed, corporately, families are changed, communities are changed. That's what we need to be praying for America.
What do you think? Fake tears for attention or genuine belief? Do the reactions from Nick, Asmon and Adin hit the mark? Let me know in the comments. If you're new here and like drama breakdowns like this, smash that like button, subscribe and hit the bell so you catch every upload. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you in the next video.